Hey there, so this is my last stop here in southwest Detroit. What you can see around me, it's just a field, right? Well, several years ago, when I first started coming to this area of Detroit, there were houses here. Dilapidated houses, and not many, but there were houses. And before that, you had a thriving neighborhood of Oakwood on the southwest side of Detroit. But ever since Marathon Refineries, Marathon Oil, has been in town and thrown their weight around, it started to make this an unlivable place to raise kids and the like. People have left this community. They've either been bought out or just moved and got out. And by bought out, I mean Marathon gave them some sort of value for their home, and they called it a day. Didn't think it was worth the fight, and I can't blame them. But living in the shadow, living just north of an oil refinery, like this Marathon oil refinery, is no way to live. But these refineries, they're all over the country. We got hundreds of them in the United States. And many of them, most of them, have been sited in communities of color, underserved communities of color. And then you throw on those same communities, the environmental justice, all of the environmental justices that come with processing, transport, and profiteering of oil by way of these refineries, and in this case, Marathon. It's just no way to treat people. There's no one left. I can see 1 or 2 homes left, maybe. There's a couple of raised gardens, raised beds for folks to grow some crops, but there's no one left here to grow those crops. There's a small little triangle park at the corner here that was donated by Marathon, least they could do. But what I really think is amazing about this is how quickly you can empty out a neighborhood in the name of processing oil and gas. When you're heading north to Detroit from Toledo, you go by this big basketball with the name of the city's NBA team, the Detroit Pistons, on it. In the background, what you see is the stacks at the Marathon oil refinery. Marathon is pretty notorious in these parts for skirting the rules and playing fast and loose with ways in which they're supposed to deal with what they do. Marathon Oil also has refineries in Canton, Ohio, near where I live in Cleveland. But in the foreground, what you have is the Kemeny Recreation Center. This is an interesting site, and a historically important site for Frac Tracker, because this is actually the first place that I ever met former Community Sentinel Award winner Teresa Landrum. A chance meeting between myself, her, and Doug Wood that happened, I would say, in June of last year, maybe May of last year. And since then, I've really grown to admire Teresa and the work she's done in these parts. But it was here that I first met her. It was here that I first took the first photo of her and Doug in masks during COVID times. And that's probably the photo that you've seen on our website when you look at our Community Sentinel Award winners. Was Teresa in her mask along with Doug. But I think Marathon is interesting because, again, this infrastructure that's sited near places like this recreation center, in the smack dab in the middle of communities like River Rouge and E-Course and 48217. Not in the affluent white communities, but in the communities of color, almost without fail. So this kind of infrastructure and visualizing it from the air, mapping its impacts, mapping all manner of things having to do with refineries in this case, or oil and gas more generally, is what Frac Tracker does best. This is the kind of thing that we've been looking at for years. I think one of the things that separates Frac Tracker is our commitment to issues, to topics, and to the people that are impacted by this over the course of time. We definitely try not to swoop in and swoop out. We're in it for the long haul. I think we dig deep into issues, and I think we're all pretty proud of that. If these stories, information, and photos are valuable to you, please consider donating to the work that we do. Whatever you're willing to share with us, we'll take. Because the work that we do takes resources, it takes persistence, but it also takes the support of folks like you.